Awesome. A lot of people here. Welcome to RuhrJS show. Maybe you've seen the intro this morning and maybe you wondered what the heck are these kilometers of cables and why is that guy playing Game Boy on stage? And so we decided it would be a great idea to just give you a rough run through what is all the technology here, what has it to do with JavaScript, and yes, what we do. Wait a second, I have to peek at my notes. Yes. Important thing is we don't have any slides, which is good, I guess. Because it's time for a party, and we won't take long. We won't go too much of the details, although you can approach each of us if you have any questions about the technology, what we're doing here. So just for a quick run through, we're doing something new, and let's see if that works. Can we have this?
Yeah. So cables. Oh, cool.
Yes. Cable chaos. Actually, so can you see me? Oh, right, that's the wrong way. All right, okay. So I have yeah. Okay, so hopefully you can now. I'm shaking. Damn. So actually it's a webcam that's shaking, but. Okay, so let's start with Jan here. Jan is the newest addition to a fine collection of digital artists. Woo!
Thank you.
He's also pretty well known for his knowledge about web media, and he's given amazing talks on web audio for like 6 years or something. So maybe you know already him or his music. And for today, he actually wrote something he calls Impro Jam. I guess it's in the works for how long? The Impro Jam and your music stuff. How long have you been working on it?
Couple of months actually. So yeah, this is basically something I wrote new. Usually I used to have some sort of live coding software so I could write code on stage. But as everyone who has ever given a live coding talk knows, that's kind of a so-so idea and it's very slow. And so this time I did something different. I basically built my own music software, and it's all based around this thing here, which is the Ableton Push. It's normally used to control Ableton, which is a so-called digital audio workstation software, which is a professional music producing software. And what I did is this thing is completely documented, which I love Ableton for. So it speaks mostly MIDI, which is a very simple serial protocol, but it also has this nice display, which is run with some lib USB stuff. You just dump data into it and it shows it on the screen. And so what I did with this is I actually built a piece that I can run in Electron. That's why it's Electron. Usually it can all run in the browser, but I need a binary module, which basically transforms a canvas element, which is this thing here, and sends it to the display, which is really cool because I can use the Canvas API to show stuff on the screen, and it's actually pretty reactive. It's pretty cool. And so I wrote my own software. It's based on a step sequencer thing. We'll just run it. You can see that there's some lights flashing now. And if I switch to the drum mode, I can play some drums and I can also sequence them. And now I have a simple beat. Some hi-hats maybe. And as you can imagine, this is slightly faster than writing code. So, and the other thing that we did here for RuhrJS is because Sam, who's going to talk next, is running his Game Boys here. We actually did some work to make it sync. So there are like USB cables. You can connect to weird hardware. And that will then connect to the Game Boy and will sync up so we can actually play in sync, and this is pretty awesome. And you've been hearing that already. So yeah, that's it from me.
All right. Patsuli, come on in. So, and next up here is Sam, also known as, if you search SoundCloud for 2XAA, which stands for 2 AA batteries that go into a Game Boy, a fact that I learned only recently, see there. So he's actually quite the repertoire already in chiptune music, and so he joined RuhrJS as one of the founding members, I guess?
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and he's number 2 of our musicians. Number 3 is missing today. He's in New Zealand.
Yeah, Matt couldn't make it because he's on the other side of the world. Wow.
Yeah, he told he was like done with travels to Europe for this year. So
Poor Matt. He's missing out.
So the first thing that we heard this morning for the intro, this was actually a software called LSDJ running on the classic Game Boy, and there are actually people who build custom software on those Game Boy cartridges and ship them to to people who are interested in doing that. So this is LSDJ.
So yeah, okay. So LSDJ is like it's a tracker interface. If anyone's used a tracker before, it's like numbers down a screen and you can input notes. And LSDJ was written by this guy called Johan Kotlinski, and it's not running on the Game Boy at the moment. But yeah, so that actually uses the Game Boy's internal hardware to create music. So it's a 4-channel synthesizer basically. It turns your Game Boy into like an 8-bit synthesizer. So you can get all the classic NES and Mario sounds, and it's great. So that's amazing. The other piece of software that I'm running today is called Nanoloop, and this stuff. So this version of Nanoloop here on this Game Boy, if we can see it, kind of. This is actually a 3-channel analog synthesizer built into the cartridge, which is pretty impressive. It's actually a PIC chip. If anyone's ever programmed a PIC, it's like the precursor to the Arduino, I suppose. And it's been reconfigured to make sounds through the Game Boy, and it sounds pretty nasty.
Yeah, my Game Boy didn't sound like that.
No.
At all.
And then like there we go. So that's actually not the Game Boy making the sounds, that's the cartridge. But on this Game Boy, another one. What's this guy's deal with Game Boys? So this actually uses the Game Boy Advance's sound chip, reconfigured again in a way to create FM sounds. So this will sound more like your Sega Genesis, I suppose, but not really, because it kind of sounds more like this. So yeah, you can actually make music with Game Boys. So.
All right, awesome. Okay, so those Game Boys don't have anything to do with JavaScript, in all fairness. So Sam contributed another piece of software which actually does a lot of JavaScript.
Yeah.
And this is running on Tim's computer over here. We now have some sort of inception going on, but maybe we just film the display or something like that. No, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Right, now you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Okay, so Tim, maybe you will just it's Sam. All right.
Okay, so I'm part of RuhrJS because I wrote this software called ModV. I started about 4 years ago, and it was like this one tiny thing in the browser that I was playing around with, and now it's like this whole ecosystem of stuff which you can program. It's grown quite a lot, and so what Tim's doing here, he's actually changing MIDI controller effects, and he's affecting shaders. So we learned about shaders from Martin earlier today, if you saw that talk. These are not my own shaders, these are free ones which I found on the internet, but it's running in my software, which is kind of cool. The other thing with ModV is that it's totally open source, so if you want to contribute to this, it's free and it's open, and it's audio reactive, and it's all basically like live visual goodness. So you can just, Tim is using this to control all of the projections and the lights in the room. The lights are a slightly different matter, and that's Tim's realm, not mine. But the projections Tim is doing tonight with software that I've been writing for quite some time. But yeah, and Tim has also contributed to this and a few other people as well. And it's, like I said, it's open source. It's on GitHub. So it's modv if you're interested. And I'm going to let Tim talk now because I've been holding this mic for far too long. And so Tim's going to talk about how he's controlling all of the lights in the room with his own software, but also modv.
No, I don't, because Martin will introduce me first.
I'm sorry, Martin.
Okay, yeah.
Why
yeah,
are you
yeah, yeah.
spoilering everything?
Okay, so yeah, my only role tonight here is being like the representative and spokesperson for RuhrJS. And I wrote part of the software that's running on Tim's machine. So, but
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, Tim is actually one of our two founders, the other being Ruth John, who couldn't be here tonight. But what was the idea when you came together with Ruth to do this RuhrJS thing? What happened there? Why?
I really don't know. I just like to connect people that have same interests, and it happened to be that I'm one of the persons that wanted to connect with other people. So yeah, this is why we founded RuhrJS. So we have other people that love stuff with JavaScript that is visual and music reactive. Yes. And
that brings me to another point that I totally forgot to mention. We actually have a Slack channel if you're interested in all that and like to chat about it, or are into web audio, web MIDI, lights, projections, stuff like that. Come find our Slack channel. Possibly, if you search for RuhrJS Network on Twitter, we will show you a link or something like that. I don't know it by heart. So. Anyway, what Tim is doing here is also not only controlling the visuals, but also controlling the lights in the room using this interesting cardboard box there, which actually speaks to all the lights here in the room. Maybe just like... it's a bit improvised, but we're getting there.
Okay. Yeah, so this is an Arduino connected with an DMX shield, and I'm using web USB to actually send the signals out of my software to this, and this is like a standard protocol which can be used to control lights like in professional venues like this one. So everything that is around here can be controlled like this over web USB with DMX. So yeah, and the software I built for controlling this is called Luminave, and what you saw before, what we, so Sam and myself, we created a plugin. So over WebSocket we are sending the light information from the canvas into my software, and this looks a bit like this if we have some kind of visuals here. So I'm grabbing a few of the pixels from the canvas and mapping those pixels to the lights that are in the room, and with this I can control them. And I'm also using WebMIDI to actually control modv, to trigger different like animations or like shaders and stuff, and another MIDI controller. No, it's fine. Another MIDI controller to trigger like effects that you can have on DMX, which is like this strobe effect, or like that the things in the background are moving. Yes, so this is what we are doing, what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess that's probably enough for a quick rundown. Now that you've seen everything that we are doing, how about some music? Let's go. Have a nice party and come to us, chat if you like. We're glad to explain everything we did in more detail, and yeah, otherwise just like have a drink with us.
Just follow us on Twitter, RuhrJS_network, RuhrJS_network.
Okay, sure. All right. Good night.
Stuff I have in here, basically. Yeah, cool. Okay.